you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Good morning, Fort Sill, and welcome to the month of October.
I know that month of September flew by, and but you know, weather-wise, I still feel like we're above average. Let's go ahead and check out what the weather's looking like. Michael, what's it looking like for PT this morning?
Well, it's going to be rather mild out there, and temperatures are in the upper 50s and low to mid 60s out there. Currently for Fort Sill, it is 61 degrees with partly to mostly clear skies. I don't know why it's saying partly cloudy. Anyway, that's automated. But for your PT forecast, temperatures will be in the upper 50s and lower 60s, and then slowly rising into the mid to upper 60s as you go throughout the morning hours with mostly clear skies. And you can see on satellite radar, we're not seeing too much out there. A few clouds here and there, and zooming out across the region, we're not seeing too much going in the region. That little disturbance that came through yesterday, well, it's pushing off towards the east and away from us, so that's going to keep us with mostly clear skies for the foreseeable future. And right now, the Chickasha Chamber of Commerce Tower Cam is currently not working right now, but anyways, we had a high yesterday of 87 degrees, still above average for this time of year. We're going to be even warmer today, and looking at our highs yesterday, we made it also to 87 in Wichita Falls, Chickasha, 86 in Duncan, 88 in Frederick, 88 in Altus, and 85 in Elk City.
Well, the U.S. government is partially shut down. Congress was unable to pass a funding measure before last night's deadline.
As a result, all non-essential federal workers are staying at home today, while service members and National Guard members will be reporting to work without pay.
Amy Kiley has this look at what the shutdown means for various government agencies.
The federal government is now shut down. It's out of money because Congress can't agree on the funding plan. The main sticking point is health care. Democrats want to reverse Medicaid cuts and stop enhanced Obamacare subsidies from expiring.
We need to stop these premiums from going up dramatically.
They're arguing a December policy debate for a September funding issue.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates about 750,000 federal workers face furloughs. It says they'd otherwise make $400 million a day. Essential employees must work without pay.
Social Security checks will come in. National Weather Service, they'll still be producing forecasts. We're talking about the Department of Veterans Affairs. Those will still be open. Medicare will still be going on, and unemployment insurance will, in fact, still be reaching the people who, of course, need it most.
The State Department might be slow to issue passports. The military remains in place, but just under half of civilian defense employees are furloughed. National parks have skeleton crews. The FDA says food inspections are affected. As for transportation, about 3/4 of FAA staff are working without pay, a central issue in the last shutdown.
10 controllers actually called out sick, and it led to massive delays, and said, you know what, we need to end this shutdown.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, thanks, Amy. And, you know, the last government shutdown we had came during Trump's first term. Now, there have been multiple close calls in the years since then, of course. The last-minute deals were always cut prior to those deadlines. No such luck this time, unfortunately.
So you're right. So we briefly reviewed some of the effects yesterday based on some of the contingency plans that were published by both the Office of Personnel Management and the War Department. Links to both of those plans can be found on our website in the shutdown article that we published yesterday at kswo.com. You can expect local federal agencies and military installations to publish more definitive guidance on operations today. For instance, we were talking about this before the show. Fort Sill, specifically on Fort Sill, you can expect certain services like the Building 4700 Welcome Center. Some of those services may be paused today or severely limited due to furloughs.
You can count on us to keep you updated on the local impact of this shutdown. Well, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced 10 new directives aimed at strengthening the War Department's people and culture during an in-person speech to the U.S. military's most senior leaders yesterday.
That's right. Some of the policy changes include the implementation of military equal opportunity and equal employment opportunity reform, changes to grooming and fitness standards, a review of hazing, bullying, and harassment definitions, a reduction in military or mandatory training requirements, among others.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look.
Hegseth has frequently said U.S. troops should adhere to new fitness requirements as part of a move to boost the military's warrior ethos.
President Trump also spoke at the meeting. He emphasized the need for the military to be used in combating war zones happening across several major U.S. cities.
San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military.
So, Kyle, immediately following that meeting, the Department of War went on basically what I would say is a media blitz or a messaging blitz. They pushed out all 10 directives that Secretary Hegseth spoke about, and I looked at all of those between yesterday and this morning. It'll be interesting to see how these all play out.
Yeah, so what are maybe some of the key highlights of those new changes?
Yeah, so honestly, some of the directives are pretty simple, and I would say some are maybe applauded by service members, like reducing mandatory training. Look, that's been something that the military's tried to do for a long time. They keep piling on more of this online training. They've actually looked to reduce that, so we'll see how that plays out. However, some of the new guidance, like the new facial hair guidance that we've talked about previously on the show, it'll be interesting to see how they handle religious exemptions specifically.
Yeah, that's something we've talked about recently.
We did talk about that. So in the most recent policy that was published yesterday, talks about that, though I do think that Secretary Hegseth, in all of the policy memos and even some of the speech that he said, I think he will empower commanders at echelon. You're talking about all echelons of the military to make the final call on some of this stuff. So we'll take a deeper look at these changes as they continue to roll out. One thing I do want to know, so I can speak specifically on the Army regarding gender-neutral PT standards. So that came up, a policy was published on it. The Army actually tried to do this a few years ago, and quite frankly, it didn't work. Yeah. And by the way, PT on every duty day of the week, that's not anything new for the Army, at least. Now, other services, I can't speak on that, but we'll see. It'll be interesting for sure.
Looking at our local military news, Oklahoma National Guard members recently traveled to Italy to break ground on the first monument of the trail in Paestum, a.k.a. the Thunderbird Trail. Now, the monument honors soldiers of the 45 Infantry Division who fought during World War II.
Now, these milestones mark progress towards connecting battlefield monuments and museums across Europe and linking them to the story of Oklahoma's citizen soldiers. Through partnerships with the Chickasaw Nation, the Oklahoma National Guard Museum, Italian museums, and local communities, the trail continues to honor sacrifice and provide inspiration. Well, heads up if you're traveling on Altus Air Force Base near the end of the business day.
The base has shifted the times when Reveille, Retreat, and Taps will be played on the base. Reveille will now be playing at 7 a.m.
So Retreat and Taps will be playing at 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. respectively. All the same protocols and courtesies still apply. Well, earlier this week, Team Shepherd proudly marked the 78th anniversary of the U.S. Air Force with an evening steeped in tradition, camaraderie, and reflection.
From formal attire and inspiring speeches to music and dancing, the event was a moving tribute to 78 years of service, sacrifice, and excellence. Well, if you're an experienced archer or just looking for a new hobby, the Outdoor Adventure Center on Fort Sill is inviting you to their new archery range, the largest of its kind here in Oklahoma.
So we actually covered the ribbon cutting ceremony on this. So there are 7 shooting lanes with distances up to 45 yards, as well as an archery pro shop for all your bow and arrow needs. The archery range is open Thursday through Sunday from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening. You can call the number on your screen for details. Looks like the Army's reducing their mission in Iraq. We'll have the latest news from around the forces when we come back.
Every first, every morning, we're here. When the workday is wrapping up and you're ready to start your evening, get your news first. The first look at what's happening in your community.
First responders in Jefferson County worked to extinguish a semi-truck fire.
Your first look at weather approaching Texoma.
We're just going to see dry conditions, mostly sunny skies.
And your first glimpse of impacts for your day ahead.
A new scholarship program is coming to Oklahoma State.
You can even watch on the 7 News app from wherever you are.
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m. KSWO and the Lawton Fort Sill community want to thank our service members and their families for their service and sacrifice. We are extremely proud of your courage, dedication, and daily commitment to protecting our freedoms. To recent graduates and their extended families, congratulations on your accomplishment and welcome to our community. Lawton Fort Sill is a unique area like no other in the country. With our strong working relationship with our armed forces, thank you for everything you do for us. 7 News, working for you every night at 5 and 6. Every evening, 7 News, working for you every night at 10. First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
Well, good morning. It is still quite a mild morning out there with temperatures in the lower to mid 60s. Currently 61 degrees in Lawton and in Fort Sill, 66 in Wichita Falls, 64 in Duncan, 60 degrees in Chickasha, 62 in Hobart, 61 in Elk City, 66 in Vernon, and 62 in Cornwall. We're a little bit cooler than we were this time yesterday, anywhere between 2 and 6 degrees. And then looking at our relative humidity values again, our western county is a little bit more humid and can't rule out maybe a few areas of patchy fog in our far eastern counties. Otherwise, just a mild morning out there with relative humidity values between 70 and 90%. And looking at our wind speeds, they're pretty calm right now. And later on today, they will start to pick up more out of the south and southeast, anywhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour. It's pretty clear as we look across Texas and even into Oklahoma. If we look just to our east, we have that system that came through earlier this week, but remember we said it will come through dry because it will be moisture starved. And out to the west, we do have another storm system out there that may impact us as we go into next week. And we're pretty much having a quiet weather pattern set up here in the upper levels. Well, when it comes to the tropics, we do have a weakening Hurricane Humberto that is continuing to move off towards the northeast. And it has influenced Hurricane Imelda just to its southwest, where what we call a Fujiwara effect, where two systems are close enough to affect each other. Humberto was responsible for pulling this system away from making landfall to the Carolinas, but at the same time, pretty much sucking the energy out of Humberto.
The United States and coalition partners are scaling back their military mission in Iraq.
The new guidance comes after the success in fighting ISIS and marks an effort to a lasting partnership between Iraq and the U.S. This partnership will support U.S. and Iraqi security and strengthens Iraq's ability to realize economic development, foreign investment, and regional partnership.
The U.S. government will continue close coordination with the government of Iraq and coalition members to ensure a responsible transition. Of note, there are still around 2,000 U.S. service members in Iraq, but they are located primarily in the Kurdish region in the northern portion of the country.
Well, U.S. Training and Doctrine Command, or TRADOC, will be sunsetting their social media beginning tomorrow to reflect their deactivation.
And for 52 years, TRADOC helped shape the Army by training soldiers and units, developing dynamic leaders, guiding the Army through doctrine, and shaping the force by building and integrating formations with the new capabilities and material fashioned by other Army commands.
TRADOC will be merging with Army Futures Command to form Army Transformation and Training Command, also known as T2COM.
Well, the Army is expanding different food options to supplement traditional dining facilities.
So we've covered a few stories like this recently. So the new directive helps meet soldiers where they are and provides them with the choices that they want. The Army has awarded Compass Group USA Incorporated a concession contract to create campus-style dining venues at Fort Bragg, Fort Stewart, Fort Carson, Fort Hood, and Fort Drum.
So these facilities will provide the installations and soldiers residing in unaccompanied installation housing more convenient, affordable, and healthy dining options. Leaders say while Army continues to transform, modernizing the Army food program is critical. Well, President Trump has announced his pick for the 24th Air Force Chief of Staff.
So the president has tapped General Ken Wilsbach for the position. Wilsbach recently commanded Air Combat Command, not Army Combat Command, and was planning to retire after nearly 4 decades of active duty service.
In a statement, Wilsbach said, quote, "I'm deeply honored by the nomination to serve as the next Air Force Chief of Staff. I intend to strengthen our warrior ethos and to build a more lethal force that is always ready to defend our homeland and deter our adversaries around the world." Well, despite a bill demanding reparations for Marines and their families sickened by toxic water at Camp Lejeune in 2022, former residents say they have yet to receive a dime from the government. After the break, we'll hear from service members who are still seeking justice.
Every first, every morning, we're here. When the workday is wrapping up and you're ready to start your evening, get your news first. The first look at what's happening in your community.
First responders in Jefferson County worked to extinguish a semi-truck fire.
Your first look at weather approaching Texoma.
We're just going to see dry conditions, mostly sunny skies.
And your first glimpse of impacts for your day ahead.
A new scholarship program is coming to Oklahoma State.
You can even watch on the 7 News app from wherever you are.
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m. KSWO and the Lawton Fort Sill community want to thank our service members and their families for their service and sacrifice. We are extremely proud of your courage, dedication, and daily commitment to protecting our freedoms. To recent graduates and their extended families, congratulations on your accomplishment and welcome to our community. Lawton Fort Sill is a unique area like no other in the country. With our strong working relationship with our armed forces, thank you for everything you do for us. 7 News, working for you every night at 5 and 6. Every evening, 7 News, working for you every night at 10.
Nearly 1 million Marine civilians and their families were potentially exposed to toxic water at Camp Lejeune over the past 30 years.
So Congress passed a bill in 2022 paving the way for those affected to seek compensation and justice. But 3 years later, many say that justice is being delayed and denied. Over 400,000 claims have been filed in relation to the toxic water, but so far just over 1,000 have been settled.
Lawyers arbitrating the case say the Department of Justice has been less than helpful in solving those cases.
A lot of the fight that the DOJ has put forward has been based on, give us a sample of that water in the 1970s, show us what was in it. Well, the water samples don't exist.
I'm proud to have been a Marine. So it's nothing about the Marine Corps. You messed with my family. My son was born in Lejeune, and he was hurting. I wish I had let him die when we're in the delivery room and the doctors were telling me we have to give him another blood transfusion.
Right now, there's another bill before Congress that would reduce some of the demands for evidence and would expand the number of judges who can handle these cases from just 4 to many more.
Well, as the Trump administration continues its crackdowns on crime and immigration enforcement across the country, various city and state leaders are pushing back.
The president has already dispatched troops to Portland this week, with more troops set to arrive in Memphis sometime in the near future. Oregon filed an emergency motion in federal court on Monday seeking a temporary restraining order to block the president's deployment of federal National Guard troops to Portland.
The president is planning to distract from all the terrible things he's doing across the country, 8 months of making the country sicker and poorer, and he wants to distract with this type of stimulation of violence that he can then use violence to justify more authoritarian control.
Right now, we're in support of law enforcement, and so we will not be doing any civil arresting.
Now, on the flip side, there are some lawmakers who have shown appreciation for the Trump administration's crackdown efforts. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has thanked the president for the ability to use federal resources to fight crime in Memphis.
Louisiana's governor is requesting the deployment of 1,000 National Guard troops to help curb crime there. Well, one of the members of the prestigious Tuskegee Airmen has died.
Lieutenant Colonel George Hardy passed away this week at the age of 100. Hardy enlisted in the Segregated Army Air Corps at the age of 17. He became the youngest aviator to fly with the Tuskegee Airmen during World War II, as well as serving in Korea and Vietnam.
While Hardy's time on Earth has come to an end, his legacy and the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen lives on.
When I say they changed the landscape of the community, a lot of the socializing they done at a lot of the hotels like the Hyatt and even later into the Ritz-Carlton. You know, and in fact, if you look at some of the pictures there, you see some of the activities that they created through the city of Sarasota.
We just wanted to be a group who wanted the same chance as anyone else to prove we could fly as well as anybody else. And we did.
South Carolina is steeped with military tradition that dates back to the founding of our country.
As Jason Dennis explains, a group from Charleston is dedicated to retelling the story of one of the first battles of the Revolutionary War and one of the first sightings of the South Carolina flag.
We got a lot to be proud of in South Carolina in our colonial history.
Back in September of 1775, the rebelling 2nd South Carolina Regiment troops captured Fort Johnson from British forces who occupied the Low Country at that time.
One of the first actual belligerent acts. This was definitely a step in the direction of, hey, we're willing to fight for our independence.
After taking Fort Johnson, the troops raised a flag, one that looks similar to the South Carolina state flag today.
Up to that point, they were subjects to the crown, and so the flags that they had were British flags. And so they had to design something that was distinct and different.
Blue represents the troops' uniforms, and the crescent similar to the one worn on the front of the soldiers' caps. Organizers of this event say it's important to relive these historic moments so everyone today can understand the state's start and the foundation of freedom.
It's a true story, and it's lots of fun when you get to learn about it, and you just get involved in stuff.
To be able to provide history kind of as an on-the-spot lesson for people is important because they may not seek it, so we've got to make it so they can find it.
Folks there are also getting an opportunity to fire a cannon used in that 1775 attack from the Revolutionary War. For Military Matters, I'm Jason Dennis.
Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
And a last look at your PT forecast. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s to lower to mid 60s, and then we'll slowly rise into the mid to upper 60s, close to 70 degrees by the time it gets to around 9 to 10 a.m. And overall, pretty much sunny skies as we go throughout your Wednesday with temperatures, high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s across the area. And then you start your Thursday morning with mostly clear skies, and your Thursday afternoon, once again, we'll have mostly sunny skies, so nothing much changing. And then as we go into your weekend, on your Friday, mostly sunny as well. And on your Saturday, maybe a few more clouds are possible. On your Sunday, mostly clear once again. But then Monday and Tuesday, we become more partly cloudy. And then we're anticipating the front that may come in as soon as we get into your Tuesday and Wednesday. But that's an if at this point right now. A high today of 90 degrees with mostly sunny skies. It will be unseasonably warm with south winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then going into tonight, a low of 63 degrees with mostly clear skies. It will be mild there. And southeast winds, I should say, at 0 to 5. And then going into tomorrow, we'll have a high again around 90 degrees for Lawton with mostly sunny skies. Once again, and winds out of the south and southeast anywhere between 5 and 15 miles per hour. And over the next 7 days, we'll pretty much have highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s, and lows tonight will be in the low 60s, and then creeping into the mid 60s for your lows as you head into your weekend. And then wind starts to really increase going into your weekend on your Saturday and your Sunday with temperatures in the upper 80s close to 90 degrees. And then we'll be waiting on that front on your Tuesday. Right now, I don't have it in the forecast, but that's just something we will continue to track with some small rain chances in the forecast.
Well, thanks for watching Good Morning Fort Sill.